Hi gang, welcome back. In this little video we're going to talk about making minor scales on the keyboard. Let's go ahead and move it up here. So we're going to focus on the keyboard, and we're going to look at this in two different ways. So minor scales. Whoops. Here we go. Minor scales. How is it different? How is it different? How is it different from a major scale? Well, let's look at it from the parallel approach. Parallel scales start on the same note. So then again, this question, how is a C major scale different from a C minor scale? Well, there's a couple different ways to look at it, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at it two ways. First of all, we're going to look at what notes are different. So the notes themselves. We're going to find that the C major scale has a lowered third scale degree. C minor, lowered third, lowered sixth, and lowered seventh. So that's one way to look at the difference between a major and minor scale. Let's look at it over on the piano. If I play C major, I've got those notes you're very familiar with by this point. And I said we're going to change 3, 6, and 7. So if I go 1, 2, 3, but I lower it to flat 3, you can already hear the minor sound, can't you? And then instead of 6, I'm going to lower 6 to A flat, and instead of 7, I'm going to lower it to B flat. Lowered third, 6, 7, 1. By the way, this changes our solfege too. Let's look at this written on the staff. All right, if I've got what would look like a C major scale to begin with, but we're going to make it C minor. And by the way, the scales we're working on right now are natural minor scales. This is natural. We haven't messed with it. Everything's just what we consider a natural minor scale. We lowered the third scale degree. E becomes E flat. We lowered the sixth scale degree, A flat, and the seventh scale degree, B flat, for our C natural minor scale. Now let's talk about solfege for a second. On the major scale, we said do, re, mi. But this isn't a mi anymore. Mi is for a major third. It's for the third of a major scale. We're going to use the term me. Fa is the same. Sol is the same. And then la becomes le, and ti becomes te. And then we come back to do. See what happened? Every time we lowered a note, it turned into an A vowel. Go back to the piano for a second. If that's our C, our do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te, do, do, te, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Okay, so again, the difference between C major and C natural minor is lowering the third, sixth, and seventh when you're looking at the notes themselves. That's one way of looking at it, the notes themselves. The other difference is the position of the half steps. Remember, the half steps in a major scale are between 3 and 4 and 7 and 1. So for major, they were 3 to 4 and 7 to 1. Those are the half steps in a major scale. I'm just going to put that in parentheses because we're going to talk about where are the half steps. Whoops. Where are the half steps in a minor scale? And again, we're working on a natural minor scale. Well, to do that, let's go back to our keyboard and count. So if we have C, D, E flat, there's a half step there between 2 and 3. And then E flat, F, G, A flat, there's a half step between 5 and 6. Whole step to 7, whole step back to 1. So the half steps in a minor scale are between 2 and 3 and 7 and 1. So therefore, you have two different ways you can look at the creation of a scale. Our book really emphasizes this lowered third, lowered sixth, lowered seventh, and I think that's cool. But I also like the idea of you going to the keyboard and playing through a scale. So for example, let's stick with C minor. If it's major, it's there. Lower the third, lower the sixth and seventh. If we're thinking just half steps, let's look at a D scale. We said half steps are between 2 and 3 and 5 and 6. That half step is such a defining feature of minor. This half step between 2 and 3. Also this half step between 5 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. It's a very strong defining feature. If you know Jim Croce's Time in a Bottle. I wish I had a real piano. Anyway, a lot of minor tunes involve that half step between 5 and 6. There you go. Get on the keyboard. Play around with those. Play lots of different scales. Try different notes to start with. Again, minor scale has half steps between 2 and 3 and 7 and 1. Or you can use it from the parallel approach. How is it different from its parallel major? Play the major scale first, and then lower the 3rd, 6th, and 7th scale degrees. Okie doke. Have fun.